Hello and welcome. My name is David Baker. I have the privilege to work with Mr. John Jubilee in the John Jubilee Transformation Experience. I get to be the National Director, and tonight we're going to tell you about the John Jubilee Transformation Experience, and I'm glad you get to be here. It's been exciting. I'll tell you my story in a little bit. We have a couple people here and maybe some more joining us. We have Alyssa. She's one of our staff. She does customer service. You want to say hello?
Hello, my name is Alyssa. I work with customer care. I worked for John for almost 2 years now.
All right, almost 2 years now. She's worked for John, and that's great. And then Philip Padgett's here. He's going to be giving his testimony later. He's one of our transformers and just a super guy. And then Joe just popped on, and Joe is one of our new transformers. He's been here just a little bit. He'll give his story in just a few minutes also. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, my name's David Baker. I'm going to tell you my story, but I get to show you some pictures as we do. So I got started with John when about 2 years ago, and I was in the military out of high school, and a paratrooper. That was at Fort Bragg or a Pope Air Force Base, and right after that I became a preacher, and I said I am not going to be a fat preacher. In high school, my pastor was over 400 pounds. At Bible college, that pastor was over 300 pounds. And I said, I am not going to be a fat preacher. And so I always worked out and exercised and ran and tried to stay in shape. Well, I messed my knee up sledding with my kids. I've got 11 children God has blessed us with. And oldest is 24, youngest is 7. And so I like to be active with them, and wrapped my knee around a tree and was not able to run anymore. And so because of that, I gained a bunch of weight. And so I have some pictures, and it's locked up right now, but if it comes to, you can see them. And gained a bunch of weight, and I tried so many things to try to lose it. I tried Lean for Life. I tried Atkins. I tried South Beats. I tried P90X. I did this one doctor-regulated program, super expensive. It was more expensive than our program is. And when I did that, I lost 25 pounds, and after it was over, I lost 20 pounds and gained 25. And so it was a mess and not something good that I would recommend to be able to do. And so I tried some other crazy things. I did a 40-day juice fast. I did a 34-day water fast, and those things, I lost some weight, felt horrible, and I realized I messed my metabolism up, and so I just kept gaining weight and felt worse and worse and worse. And so what happened was I finally found John on the radio. I heard him for 5 minutes, and I said, that's what I need. I need that. I heard him only for 5 minutes. I'm a pastor and have been for 20-some years. I heard him on the radio. I was leaving church, going to the jail to preach, and he said, no running, no heavy breathing, no sit-ups, and you can eat real food. And I said, that sounds great. So I called and went to my interview, and I signed up. And 88-day program, and it was exactly like he said it was. I lost over 50 pounds of fat. I heard him talk about the knees, how his knees were bone on bone, and that he was going to, they wanted him to have knee surgery, and he didn't. He was too young. And what happened was that his knees, doing this program when he did it 20 years ago, were able to rebuild the cartilage back in there, and he was able to run bleach. Are we back? All right, good. Sorry, my computer has been crazy messing up, and I don't know why. I'll try not to mess with it, but so hope you heard most of that. Phil, did you hear most of that, or was it lock off?
Yeah, you just dropped off just the very last second. So.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I had tried a whole bunch of things and never worked. I tried Don's program and it worked, and I got some great pictures, and the computer's not letting me show that, but I lost over 50 pounds of fat and gained muscle, gained hydration, exactly what they said. And so I started working for John and sharing it with other people. being a pastor, I've been in the hospital thousands of times and seen so many people sick, and I know God didn't make our bodies that way. And so what I'd said years ago, if I did not know for sure God wanted me to be a pastor, I would try to spend my life helping people with their health, because so many people cannot work, they can't take care of their family, they can't serve God because their body's such a mess. And so I've been sharing this program and helping other people with it. So I'm going to tell you how it works, and then we'll give you some testimonies. There's 3 things that John guarantees in the program will happen, or we give your money back. Okay, very simple, 3 things. Number 1, guaranteed you're going to lose fat. Whatever you need to lose, you can lose it. We have many people that lose 100 pounds of fat in 88 days, okay? 100 pounds of fat in 88 days. We've had clients lose over 200 pounds of fat. Now, that takes a little bit longer, but you keep going until you finish. So whatever fat you want to lose, you can lose on this program. Number 1, guaranteed you're going to lose fat. Number 2, guaranteed you're going to gain muscle. Muscle looks good, muscle feels good. The best thing about muscle is muscle burns and metabolizes fat, okay? For every 5 pounds of muscle that you gain, it will eat 50 pounds of fat all year long for free, okay? It will eat fat. So you will gain muscle on this program, and you will lose fat on this program. The third thing that is guaranteed is you will gain healthy hydration. This is the least thing I've ever heard anyone talk about with all of those health things. I never heard this one time. You will gain healthy hydration. And here's why. Our body is supposed to be made up of about 2/3 water, okay, about 66% water. And so most people don't realize that they're partially dehydrated all the time. If you got really dehydrated, you'd have to go to the hospital and get IVs, or you could die. What we don't realize is most people are partially dehydrated. When we measure people in the office, we use what's called a bioimpedance scale, and it shows their percentage of their hydration, and it's usually high 30s or low 40s, and we ought to be 50, 60+%. And so guaranteed you'll gain hydration. Now, it's not just drinking water. You can pour water, gallons of it, on a marble desk and it won't absorb anything. And the same way with our cells. I did one program that's called Hallelujah Acres. It was raw fruits and vegetables, juicing carrots, juicing greens for almost a year, 11 months. We had Champion Juicer juice carrots every day. I'm eating the healthiest stuff in the world. I felt horrible. I had no energy. I felt like I did when I was doing a 40-day juice fast or a water fast. I had no energy. I asked the people about the program, and they said, oh, you're just detoxing. Really? Detoxing for 11 months? I don't think so. Finally quit it, but I did not understand why I couldn't feel good. After doing John's program, I know why. Because it doesn't matter how healthy of food you're eating if the cells aren't absorbing it. And that is so important. So many people, healthy, organic, juicing, and all these different things they do, but if your cells can't absorb it, then it doesn't matter the foods that you eat, because it's not going to get into the cell. What happens, and this is why this is not a diet, this is not a weight loss program, this is a cellular health program. Now, there are some side effects to this. You'll lose fat, gain muscle, and gain hydration, but this is literally set up just to get your cells healthy, and those good side effects come after that. The best illustration for a cell is like a porous water balloon, where it's porous, where the nutrients and hydration can go in, the toxins and fat can go out. But what happens through the years is that those cells get hard and get flat, and they get a non-porousness to it, where it can't get the hydration and nutrition inside of the cell, and so it causes all kinds of problems. I never changed the way I ate. My body changed the way that it processed the food. I don't know how many times I've talked to people who are very overweight, and they say, honestly, I don't eat a lot. And you go out to eat with them, and they really don't. But their body is so messed up, and their cells are so messed up, that anything they do only works for a little while, but you're not fixing the cells. Like John talks about, most diets, all you lose is water and muscle, a little bit of fat, and then you gain it back with some, because it's not helping at a cellular level. You're losing good things instead of the bad. And so these 3 things we guarantee you will have, or we give your money back. You'll lose fat, gain hydration, and gain muscle. Okay? Now, let me tell you some things about the program that I can tell you. We do not sell pills or potions or food. You're not going to have frozen food come to you. We don't do that. What you're getting with John's program is his intellectual property. Let me tell you how John got started on this. John was in banking for 20 years, and I joke, and I don't think he's heard me say this, but I call him a fat cat banker because he was in banking for 20 years and gained a bunch of weight, and he did, like most of us do, tried everything he could to lose it. And he says he looked like he swallowed a truck tire around his waist, and he grew up, he was in sports and athletic, and just gained all that weight and tried to lose it, lose, gain, lose, gain. Finally, John said, forget it, I'm going to study this on my own. John has a very analytic research mind. And John went and got all of these Harvard medical studies, all these placebo groups, all these research, heavy document, detailed data stuff that to me would be so boring. And John spent hundreds and thousands of hours and pages going through all this. And when he got done, he put together 10 things that he thought would work. He had a friend of his, Dr. Durr, that's an orthopedic surgeon, and they would exercise some, and he said, hey, you want to do this program with me? And Dr. Durr said, sure, I'm going to go to my high school reunion at my high school weight. And so they did this program, 88 days. At the end of it, John lost 10 inches around his gut. 10 inches around his gut. And Dr. Durr went to his high school reunion at his high school weight. The only person that did, he said. And that was 18 years ago. For 10 years, John did this for free. He'd print off things in a 3-ring binder and give it to people. And then one day, a very influential businessman heard about him and said, John, you have got to take this full time. You need to be to health and wellness what I am to finance. And he sat him down, and John ended up going full time. That was 8 to 10 years ago. So now John has helped thousands of people all over the country, from Hollywood to Nashville to Chicago to Florida, helping them with this. And so it's been great. So we don't sell any pills or potions or food or anything like that. You're getting John's intellectual property. And I like it that way. You know the old phrase, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. What we're going to do is we're going to teach you to fish. You're going to know your body. You're going to know cellular health. You're going to know what works. And it's going to work for the rest of your life. So to alleviate your fears, what is this program? There's 4 things I can tell you about it where you know there's nothing weird we're going to do to you. Okay? So the 4 simple things. Number 1 is it's safe. Okay? It is safe. We're not going to give you any diet pills, no fen-phen, no hydroxycut, nothing like that. You know, they come out with these diet pills, and a few years later, the lawyers come out and say, if you use this, contact us. Nothing like that. It is safe. By the way, we're not going to take a food group away from you. A lot of those diets take carbs away, take bread away. We're not going to do that. That is not safe and healthy to do that. Some of those programs even say, do not do this long term because it's not safe. It builds up a protein in your blood. It can mess your kidneys up. But people don't listen because, quote, it works, and they stay on this long term, and it messes their body up. Okay? Number 1, this is safe. No diet pills. We don't take a food group away from you. Okay? That's very important. I don't know how many, quote, health things I did that messed me up on the other side of it instead of helping me. Number 2, it's simple. Okay? It is simple. John says all the time, he said, will you be mad at me if it's simple? Like, no. If it works and it's simple, will you be mad? No, it is very simple. Every good program has 2 components, exercise and nutrition, okay? But John's are simple. The exercise program, anyone can do it. Anyone. We had an 81-year-old lady go through it. The oldest person to do this is over 90 years old. We've had a lady in a wheelchair lose 37 inches in a wheelchair. Anyone can do John's program. Like he says, no heavy breathing, no sit-ups, no running, okay? Anyone can do this. So the exercise program is simple. Number 2, the nutrition program is simple. If you like to cook, it works great. If you like to eat out, it works great. If you never cook at home, it still works great. It is that simple. My wife and I have a date every Friday night. We have for years. We went to Red Lobster, ate off the menu, and totally stayed within this program. I know that sounds too good to be true. I'm telling you, we did it. Next week we went to Swanky's Taco in Franklin and totally stay within the program. Next week we went to Betty's Parkway Steakhouse and totally stay within the program. It is that simple to be able to do. And John says any restaurant you can go in and eat. Okay, there's some guidelines of what to do, what not to do, and how and when and all that, but it is so simple to follow. When I joined this over 2 years ago, the week I joined, I went on the blog and there was a pizza recipe. And what? I can have pizza on this thing? And there was pizza recipe. I had 3 or 4 of those a week. So it's so simple, the nutrition program, you don't feel like you're giving up anything. I told my wife through this whole thing, I said, there is no way that this is a diet. I'm eating too good. I feel too good. But that's one reason why it's easy to keep it and keep going. I'll tell you this, you will eat all the time and you will not be hungry. I had a man from Atlanta call me, and he signed up the other day, and after he found out about the program, he signed up first, then he found out about it, and called me up and said, well, this isn't going to work. I'm 364 pounds. This is not going to work for me. I said, trust me. He called me back in a week or two and said, man, I'm never hungry. I can't believe this. I am never hungry. Okay? So number one, it's safe. Number two, it's simple. Number three, it's scientific. The science behind this is just fascinating. There's so many levels that it's working on. I've done this for 2 years, taught this for a year and a half, and I still don't understand every level. The science is just fascinating. You know, if you run 10 miles a day, you're going to lose some weight. That's one level. There are 15, 20 different levels going on of things all the time in the body that's working. It's not just one way. That's why the fat loss is so quick, and that's why it's safe, because it's only targeting fat. You're not losing hydration. You're not losing muscle, okay? And so number one, it's safe. Number two, it's simple. Number three, it's scientific. And number four, to me, this is the most important thing. It's sustainable. Okay, it's sustainable. Who wants another fat diet? Who wants another 30-day, 60-day, and then lose it and gain it back? That expensive doctor-regulated program I went to, it was, like I said, cost more than our program. I lost 20 pounds and gained 25. His meal program was mostly steamed vegetables. It was some super cleanse it was supposed to be. Mostly steamed vegetables. I can eat steamed vegetables, but I'm not going to live on steamed vegetables. I'm sorry, I'm just not. And so John's program is so simple to do because you eat real food. You eat all the time. You're never hungry. It's sustainable. Okay, my pant size was 38 to 40 before I started this. I went down to 32 to 34 when I finished, and I'm still in that 2 years later. John did this 18 years ago. He's not gained any fat back. It's sustainable. You're going to learn what works. You're going to learn what works for the rest of your life. You'll become the scientist, and you'll know your body, and you'll know how these things work. So that's a little bit of the story. I'm going to give a couple testimonies now, and Philip Paget is one of our transformers. I'm going to let him tell you his story, and I have some pictures and slides, but I'm afraid to pull them up because my computer is acting very, very crazy. If you want to see his before and after pictures, you can email me and we'll let you know. By the way, if you have any questions about this while you're going through it, just type it in the site and we'll answer those before we get done. Okay? So, Brother Philip, you done?
Great.
There you go.
Thanks, David. Yeah, to start with, everything David said is completely true. That's what I experienced. The program is safe, simple, scientific, and sustainable. I started the program 2 years ago, and I've maintained ever since then with no problem at all. But just a little bit about my background, my history of trying to get healthy. Not unlike, I'm sure, a lot of people. You know, I struggled with weight issues on and off through my life. You know, in high school, I was a football player, and after that, you know, getting married and having kids, wasn't as active as I wanted to be. Was just up and down with my weight. But I didn't really feel like I had a huge weight problem. But nonetheless, I was, you know, would go from a size 37 to, you know, a 30, maybe a 35, but nowhere near where I was in high school. However, my concern really wasn't with my weight, it was with my health, because about 4 years ago, our company had an incentive program where they would fund our health savings plan if we went and got a health screening, and we had an on-site clinician at our company. And so I could get the funding into my health savings plan, I went and got a screening. And the first screening that I went to, all the numbers came back out of acceptable ranges. And when they do that, they'll print out a form, and everything that's out of range will show up in red. David actually has a copy of my screenings. He's having problems with his computer. He's not able to show it, but we were going to show that as proof. Like, every number on that chart was in red. So it wasn't good. Believe it or not, I still wasn't really that alarmed at that time. I was like, well, you know, I'm not sure how much I believe in those numbers. I really feel fine. Yeah, I know I could lose some weight, but I'm not too concerned about it. So I got my money. That's all I really cared about. So the next year, we go through the same thing, go through the same plan, same incentive. So here I am back doing the screening. And this time, I get the same results. Everything's in red. And the clinician is having a little talk to me at this point. It's like, Philip, you really need to do something. We need a lifestyle change here. I don't think you need to go on medication, but I think we can address it with a lifestyle change. And she gave me some recommendations, the typical things that you would hear. You know, you need to lose weight, exercise more, avoid salt, avoid red meat, eat more broccoli, those type of things. Nothing real specific, but all the let's eat healthier, exercise more. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'm going to take it a little more serious this year, and we'll see what the results are. So I did. I exercised more. I really watched what I ate. I cooked with olive oil. I ate more chicken. Tried not to eat as much salt. Was very conscious of what I ate and tried not to eat as much. And I lost weight and lost a little bit of weight, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. So I went in for the next screening. To my dismay, some of the numbers were better, but still the major components of my cholesterol that I was very concerned about and my blood pressure were both still very high and hadn't dropped those one bit, no change at all. So I went back and just started working even harder, trying to watch my weight, trying to lose more weight, try to exercise more, being more aware of what I'm eating, reading more about health, trying to educate myself. 6 months later, I go back in thinking, I think I've nailed it this time. We could get those screenings twice a year. Went in 6 months later, same results. Cholesterol still high, blood pressure still high. My ratio to good to bad cholesterol is still high. I'd heard John Jubilee on the radio a couple of times, and what he was saying really rang true to me. It kind of aligned with what I'd been reading. It made sense. It was very common sense. It was very believable. And I was kind of at my wit's end on what I could do differently. I thought I was doing all the right stuff, but nothing was making a difference. So after that last screening, which was mid-March of, actually it's on the screen now, mid-March of 2014, I got that screening, still in the red. My cholesterol, my high blood pressure, and bad cholesterol were high. Good cholesterol was too low. Started the program, and when I first saw the program, I said, you got to be kidding me. This is way too simple. Are you saying if I just do these things that I'm going to get the results that John keeps talking about? I can't believe it, because this is crazy simple. So I started 2 weeks into it. I could actually start seeing a significant difference in my body. Not so much in my weight, but I could actually see it in my body. 4 weeks into it, it just kept changing. It was just a real momentum builder because I could see it working. I could see that the simple things that I was doing were making a difference and making an impact. After I finished the program, I did it for 88 days. I actually did a health screening a couple of weeks after that, and that's what's on the screen now. You'll see nothing is in red. My blood pressure was lower than what it's ever had been before. In the previous years, when I had it checked, before it got into the high level, it was always 120/80, which everybody says is perfect. I had that checked twice a year for many years. Had it checked this time, after being around 145/95, it was 115/75. Incredible. My cholesterol was under 200. I've never seen it under 200. My good cholesterol was very high. My low cholesterol, my bad cholesterol was low. So the results are there. The health results are there. As a benefit, what you hear is that I gained muscle mass. I got very well built just from doing the program. It wasn't my goal at all to get muscular, but I got very trim, very lean, and very muscular as a side benefit of it. I had lost 50 pounds of body of fat and gained 15 pounds of muscle and gained 15 pounds of that hydration that David was talking about that everybody else says, oh, it's just water weight and water weight's bad. Water weight's good. And I'm actually proud that I gained 15 pounds of water weight. Back into my high school size pants, 33. It's what I wore in high school. It's what I wear now. I get comments all the time on just, you know, how I look. You know, that's kind of a side benefit. I was at my youngest son's Boy Scout retreat a couple of weekends ago, and I was throwing football with the kids, and one of the younger Boy Scouts came up to me and was like, "Whose father are you?" I'm like, I'm Preston's father. And he's like, he looks at me and goes, "Wow," and walks away. So I'm thinking, well, that's pretty cool, and just, you know, thinking about my son and him seeing that and how proud he must have been, you know, that the kids are like admiring his father. So all that being said, I didn't do it for the looks of what I would look like afterwards. I did it for the health, but that was just a huge, you know, benefit, side effect of actually getting healthy at a cellular level. And everything that David is saying is just completely true. I am just living testimony, and has gone through the program and transformed. There's the photo from 2 years ago, and have been able to maintain. The photo to the left was taken maybe just a couple of years before I started the program. It's pretty much what I looked like before I started the program. And the photo after wasn't right after. That might have been another 6 or 8 months after the program. It's pretty much what I look like right after the program. So that's all I have, David.
Awesome. That's great stuff. Thank you, Phil. And Joe keeps getting knocked off. His computer's having fun too. Joe's one of our newer transformers, and he also works with us now. He and his partner are helping us with new website and some new sharing programs we're doing. So, Joe, why don't you give a quick testimony of where you're at and how many weeks in and your numbers?
Great, Dave. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Sorry, I keep getting knocked off here, but listen, I'm really excited about this program. And, you know, although I'm working with a team, I'm also going through my own transformation. John said, "Joe, listen, if anybody's going to believe you, you're going to have to do this yourself." And it's really been exciting. My wife and I are doing it together. And I think, you know, one of the things that David mentioned earlier that really struck me was that John said, you know, you're going to eat regular food. You know, I mean, I grew up wrestling in high school and college, and cut a lot of weight, you know, and knew how to lose weight. It just was never worth it. It wasn't sustainable. I'd go out and run, get up to running 5 or 6 miles 3 times a week and killing myself, but I knew that wasn't something I wanted to do long term. And, you know, I talked to John about this, and it was amazing to me how quickly I saw results. And I think that'll be one of the things that excites you too, as you're eating and you find that you're not hungry, and you've got the psychological edge of having these great supplements that you actually feel working. I mean, you're drinking the water, you're eating the right portions, you're really never hungry, and you're doing something that I think you'll agree is so sustainable. And I found that within the first, you know, 30, and I started actually through the holidays, so it was a little bit a little sketchy there between, you know, Christmas and New Year's. But in the first, you know, 30 days of the program, I lost 25 pounds. And lost 4 inches off my belly, and you know, about 2 inches off my chest, and my hydration went up about 10% from 43 to 53%, and you know, it's really exciting. I remember coming in after probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks of this, and I went to the gym and did my thing, and of course I was used to dreading going to the gym. I was used to coming back completely exhausted, completely just wiped out. I mean, if I want to go back to bed, you know, when I got out of the gym, I was like, oh, I got to start my day. And, you know, here I am, you know, totally exhausted. To, you know, coming off from the gym and really just a big smile on my face. I told my wife, I said, you know, what's so exciting about this, and why I think it's going to be so big and so many people are going to want to do this, is because it's sustainable. It's something I can see myself doing for the next 40, 50 years, literally. I mean, it was so natural. The movement, the exercise, you know, was so normal. We you know, John talks about, you know, your resting heart rate plus 50. In other words, if your resting heart rate is 75, then 125, 125 beats, is where you want to be, that beats per minute.
All right, something wrong there. We're gonna.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and go on and things. So, all right, and I'm going to close this down. We're not going to go long. I do want to show you everything's working again now, so just so you know that it was real. And so I was in the military. We have 11 children, and I'm active with them and love them. The biggest thing for me, I gained a bunch of weight, and I was not able to do the things with my younger children I do with my older one. That's my oldest son, and we were very active together. My younger ones I wasn't able to. Gained a bunch of weight. Those are pictures I'm not proud of, but just the life the way it was. That's our daughter saying goodbye to college. Not real happy, but not feeling good either with the gut that's sticking out over your belt. These were the list of some of the things that I did: Lean for Life, Atkins, South Beach, sugar diet, testosterone diet, fast, weight loss cure. I didn't do that. I bought the book. That used horse urine, and I wouldn't have taken that. P90X, Doctor Program, Hallie Acres, juicing carrots and greens. Those are things I did. That was my before and after, right when I got done with the program, and no Photoshop, but just literally from my head, my waist, everything changed. After that was the most fun. I got to do things with my kids again. These are for my younger boys, and we went to Gatlinburg, and that's Mount LeConte. It's the highest mountain, the toughest trail to be able to go, and we climbed that. There's no way I could have done that. I'm almost 50. There's no way I could have done that before I did this program. That's the list of all the mountains, the big ones at the top. 14.4 miles, 3,993 feet up, and difficulty level 22.39. It's the toughest one in all of Gatlinburg, and my kids did that together. Then we planned to train to do a 5K run. That's our 5K after we got done. You can see a little sweat, but we did it and did well for my age group. After that, I did a triathlon. I always wanted to do one, and so 48 years old, I did my first triathlon. I'm just finishing the bike portion there, and I finished it. And so for me, getting health back, getting life back, getting energy back, but then being able to connect with my children and my future grandchildren, to be around for them for a long time, it sure made everything worth it. So when I share this, I say, okay, do you have any questions? And usually the first question they ask, usually the only one, and by the way, the question I asked was, how much does this cost? Okay, and so I'll tell you how much, but I get to tell you a story with it. John was sharing this with people, and someone came in to see him. His name was Tom. Tom was a New York City firefighter. He had burned his lungs up in a fire and moved down to Tennessee, and not being able to exercise, he gained a bunch of weight. Heard about John, came in to see him, and John said, to do this program, you have to commit to two things. You have to commit to do the 10 things. They're very simple. You have to commit to that. And you have to commit to 1 hour a day, 6 days a week. And Tom said, I can't do it. He said, why? He said, I can't exercise. I can only exercise for 1 minute because my lungs are such a mess. And he said, if I ran across the room, I'd have an asthmatic attack and could die. He said, you don't have to run. I already told you that. He said, I can only exercise for a minute. We'll start with a minute, and you'll be able to do more because your cells are going to get healthy at a cellular level. And so Tom said, okay, how much does it cost? And John told him. He froze. Silence. John looked at his watch. 3 minutes, dead space. I mean, awkward. John just waiting on him. Finally, after 3 minutes, Tom said, give me that paper. I'm signing up. And Tom signed up, did the program, came back. Numbers were amazing. Lost, I believe it was 81 pounds of fat. Gained 14 plus pounds of muscle. I saw his before and after. He looked like a bodybuilder when he got done. Amazing. He came back again. He's New York City, real loud. He came and said, John Jubilee, he said, find $1 million, I'd give it to you. You've changed my life. And he said, I ran for 90 minutes today because I could. And literally changed his life. And John said, he said, do you want to know why I waited so long to do this program? He said, please tell me why. He said, when you told me how much it cost, I immediately thought, there's no way. I'm not spending that much money on myself. I'm not spending that much money for me. He said, before I could get those words out, my mind immediately went to, I just paid someone $3,500 to paint the trim on my brick house, and didn't think about it. A few months before that, my wife's transmission went out. We paid $4,500 for that. A few months before that, the heating and air went out. We paid $5,400 for that. Disney vacation, thousands of dollars for the family. Because it was things, I didn't think about it. I just paid it. But when it came to spending money on myself, I said, that's too much. I'm not going to do that. When you told me it was $3,000, I forget it. I'm not doing it. But I realized, wait, I am more important than the stupid trim on my house or anything else that I have. I'm more important than that. He said, I am so glad that I did it. That's how much it cost. It's $3,000. Now, when they told me that, I was convinced I was doing the program. When I signed up, he told me $3,000. You know, men, we have this pride, so we want to act like it didn't bother us, but it did. 11 children, minister salary, not the highest pay bracket. And I looked at the guy and I said, look, I do not have $3,000. I said, but I'm doing this program. If you will work with me, I will do this program. And I look back now and said, boy, that was weird. He told me it was $3,000. I didn't have $3,000, but I said, I'm doing this program. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, just to be honest. I didn't care. I had to do something. By the way, they did work with me, and I did the program. I'm not telling you to do this, okay, but I didn't tell my wife how much it cost because I didn't know what she'd say. We had some tough financial problems, and all the kids, I didn't know what she would say at first. She went with me to the first meeting with John after a month and got to meet him, and John's telling about the program. He said, look, you paid $3,000 for this program. And I see my wife looking at me going, okay, we'll see what happens now. On the way home, she said, so the program cost $3,000? I said, yes. And she told me, she said, honey, I am so glad you did this. I see what it's done for you. I see what it's done for your health and energy. It was so worth it. I am so glad you did this. And to be honest, that was the confirmation that I needed. For her, tight budgets, 11 kids, for her to say, I'm so glad you did this, it was so worth it. And I know it has been. Since then, my health has been great, and life and energy and business and finance and all that. And it started with taking care of this, taking care of the body. So many people can't work and do because their mind is slow and sluggish, their energy level's bad, their physical body's messed up. They have to take off work, they get sick. And so let me tell you how we can help you to get started. Now, when I came on in this position with John, I said, John, every person I've ever sat across the desk from, everyone 100% wants to do this program. Without a doubt, every one of them wants to do it. Anytime I've ever been to a meeting and John gets up in front of 50 or 100 people or 200 people, we talk to him afterwards. Every person there wants to do this program. There's only one problem, and that's what? Finances. So John, let's fix that for them, and we can help a lot more people to do it. So here's what we've done and how we have it fixed, and I believe anyone can get started with this. So first thing is, normally, by the way, John does these for CEOs and celebrities. I know of 2 billionaires that have done this program, and John charges them $10,000. Are you kidding? Same program. The only thing different is they get his cell number, okay? So if you want to pay $10,000 and get his cell number, you can do that. He charges them that, and here's why. They need that amount of money to keep them faithful to it. $3,000 for them is a night on the town. $10,000, I don't care who you are, that's a nice vacation. And that keeps them faithful to it. By the way, John learned this a hard way. John gave this away for free for 10 years. Pure heart. You don't get any purer than that. He was making money doing mortgages and banking, and he gave this away for free, but so many people he gave it to did not do it because it's free. It must not be worth much. Once he started charging for it, then they kept it. I know from going through the program, I kept this program exactly because I knew if I wanted my money back, I had to keep the program. And if you don't mind me quoting, the Bible says where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. When you pay the money for it, it keeps your heart faithful to it, and you have a great transformation. John said, after I started charging for it, everybody did the program, and everybody had a great transformation. And so John says, listen, if you do the program and it doesn't work, we'll give you the money back. If you do the program and it does work, you're going to be happy about it anyway. So normal CEO celebrity, $10,000. Normal price is $5,000. When we do the webinars or live meetings, it's $3,000. And here's what we've just started. If you can pay up front, then we'll go ahead and discount it. We'd rather give you the discount than paying the bookkeepers to collect it, okay? We realized how much we had to pay to collect this, and so it's only $2,500 if you can pay it up front. Now, I couldn't pay it up front, so there's a couple other ways. If you can pay $1,000 down and $1,000 and $1,000, that gets it done before the 88 days, and so it's only $3,000 if you do that. If you need more time, then you can pay $500 down and $200 a month and be able to get started. Someone says, well, I don't even have $500. And I've had some people that way. They said, give me 2 weeks. I'll raise it. I'll get it. I had a man who was on permanent disability. He wanted to get healthy. He didn't have the money. He went to his kids and told them what he wanted to do. his kids called up and said, hey, we love Dad. We want Dad to be around. We want to pay it for him. They paid his way to have his transformation, to have their dad back, okay? So there's always a way if someone's committed to do it. The other thing is this, and I'm super excited about this, the other way with finances that we want to help is we want to financially give more back to you than what you have ever given to the program, okay? And that's our goal. And so what we're doing, John has paid literally, I've seen the bills, hundreds of thousands of dollars for TV and radio advertising to get the word out. What we realized when we look at how many people joined, most of the people were referrals. People that brought their friends and brought their family, because you're a walking billboard. When people see Philip out there, what did you do? Okay, it's just natural to tell them about it. And so what we're doing, we're not doing the radio and TV now. We are paying our transformers for sharing this. Okay, and so here's what we're doing. And so this is a way that you can literally pay your whole way. We pay very well. If you just share this, by the way, people are going to ask you anyway. I don't know how many people ask me, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we're also going to be able to help you make some business cards. And you probably can't see all of this, but this is my business card. It's got my before and after on one side, and it's got John's information on the other. And I stole one of Philip's when his came in. This is John's on one side. This is Philip's before. Someone said, oh, I bet you were that big when you were smaller. That's his picture at 34. That's his picture that you saw, and that's where he is now, okay? So you can see he wasn't, quote, always this muscular, but what this program has done. And so we'll help you with business cards to be able to pass them out. And literally, just sharing this with people, you can have your whole program paid and even make some money from doing this. And so that's what we'd like to do to help you. So I'm almost done, and if you say, that sounds great, I want to do it, how do I get started? Very simple. All you do is email me, okay? David@johnjubilee.com. David@johnjubilee.com, and say, hey, I'm ready to do it, and then tell me which financial way you want to do it, okay? So the $2,500 all up front, or $3,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, or the $500 down and $200 a month, or if you want the CEO one, you can let us know that too, and let us know, and then I'll send you 2 documents in the mail on your email. One is that we call an intake form. It has where you put all your information in, your physical and financial. And then another is an NDA, a non-disclosure. You're paying good money for this program. It's not fair to you and other people to give this away for free. So we ask you, when people say, you look great, what are you doing? John Jubilee, go check it out, but don't give them the details of the program, okay? And so that's all we ask. And so you'll sign that, get that back to me, and then here's what we're going to do. You're going to hear from John every day. You're going to get an email from John every day, teaching you, helping you, encouraging you, motivate you. John is going to walk through this program with you every day for your full 88 days, okay? And so he's going to be there. You'll get access to the website, the member site, where it has all the videos and exercise and teaching and program. Great. You're going to get 2 books in the mail, a manual and a workbook, to be able to teach and give you all the things that you need. And the other thing you're going to get is you're going to get coaching from John Jubilee. You're going to have specific questions about your health or food or your body. And John Jubilee has done this for 20 years. And every Tuesday night, we have a question and answer webinar, just like this, except you pop on, put your questions in there, and John will answer them. John will stay as long as you have questions, okay? It's been wonderful. Our Transformers have loved it, and I've never seen someone ask a question that John didn't know the answer to. It's been amazing, and so we do that every week. You say, well, I can't make it at that time. No problem. Just email us your questions. We'll ask the question to John. You register, and the program will send you a replay video to your computer, and you can watch it whenever you want. And people have loved it. Oh, I've got something on Tuesday night. Hey, ask these questions for John. I'll just watch the answers on the replay. And that's how it works, okay? So we want to give you great support, great encouragement, great help, a great transformation. And here's why. It's somewhat selfish. We want you to look great and feel great, so you go talk about this program. So everyone says, what are you doing? You look great. That's going to help us as a company, and it's going to be able to help a lot more people. Okay, so that's our goal and plan. So real quick review, and we'll be done. 3 things we guarantee. You will lose fat. You will gain muscle. You will gain hydration. Okay? Those things will happen. 4 things where you know there's nothing weird we're going to do to you. By the way, there's people that have this program where they put them on 500 calories a day and give them a B12 shot to suppress their appetite. And they pay thousands of dollars to do that. That is not healthy, okay? I told it to a lady. She said, I did that. She said, my hair was falling out. It was horrible. It's safe. It is simple. It is scientific, and it's sustainable. You think about, boy, that's still a lot of money. Think of one night in the hospital. What are you going to pay? One night. Think about that heart attack or a stroke. What's that going to cost? Think about time that you miss from work by being sick. Think about all those kinds of things. Think about your life. I promise you, that is not a lot. Like I said, I paid more than that for a program that was a cleanse that I lost 20 and gained 25. You think about all the money you spent on programs knowing this is it. This is the last. I found what works, and I'll be able to sustain this for the rest of my life. I promise you it's worth it. So if you have a question, feel free to type it in. We'll try to answer it. If you're ready to get started, just email me, david@johnjubilee.com, and I'll send you the forms out tonight even. We can get you started, get things processing. Just email me, david@johnjubilee.com. Now, if you're watching this on replay, whenever you watch it, no problem. You can get started. Just email also david@johnjubilee.com, and we'll get your information and get you going and have a great transformation. Okay? So, well, we're going to be done. I'm going to close this out, and I don't see any questions in the sign. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and thank you, Phil, and others for being Philip for being on here and sharing your testimony and story. It is real, and it works, and it'll work for you too. Okay? God bless. Good night. Thank you.